Artificial intelligence is remaking every industry, and IT solution providers, clients in the automotive space know they have to move fast. From the factory floor to the car lot, automotive companies are racing to use AI to speed up development, cut down operating costs, and find new ways to dazzle their end customers.
They're trying to leverage AI every way possible to get them efficiencies.
It took 6 months for us to create a mobile application in the past. We can do it in 2 weeks right now.
Data can be harvested to create and train large models and ultimately lead to agentic AI.
There's a big change in the traditional way how we work, applying more and more AI. And we are really happy to adapt to this because it's a huge change to increase quality, to save money in the end, and reducing the time to market, which is great.
Executives at 4 major solution providers took CRN under the hood on what automotive AI looks like today and where it's headed. They're helping rethink legacy systems and providing change management to a global workforce spanning original equipment manufacturers, part suppliers, car dealers, insurance and financing providers, and the other business models that make the auto industry engine rev.
There's a desire for more visibility into the supply chain. How are things getting there? We've seen a lot of regulations that has been born heavily out of, hey, we need to see cradle to grave where all the sourcing of materials come from, whether it's lithium or cobalt for EV vehicles. We need to see where those source materials are coming from. We need to understand they're coming from ethical sources, and we need to understand how we're not negatively impacting the environment as we're decommissioning those electric vehicles, as an example. So it's created a desire for more visibility.
They're investing in where they see the world going, which is great. I think that automotive, because it touches so many different areas in different sub-industries, whether it's a supplier or the manufacturing space or sales and marketing dealers, naturally the level of technology usage is going to be different at each of those different spots. But they're trying to find ways to invest that will give them greater return in the next, I would say, 12 to 18 months, because they are concerned about the other end of the spectrum where costs are increasing. How can we get the same level of work or better with cost decreases on other sides of the business? So oftentimes that's what they're coming to ask for. They need a 30% EBIT change to make up for the cost that I'm getting on the other side to bring in parts from the outside, to sell to my dealers, to stock the inventory on my lots longer, to use different parts of my business in the software, whether it's consumption models or all-you-can-eat models.
We have been partnering with one of the largest hyperscaler and also one of our clients and major automotive manufacturer to do an agentic AI hackathon for the automotive. And so within Kyndryl really fostered the idea of innovation of what can be done. What started with, I think there were about 200 submissions of ideas through a selection process, a competition style approach with judges, pitches, presentation, demo that gets built, refined. So an idea that goes into a sandbox that becomes an actionable demo. We had kind of about 5 sort of like production ready kind of like winners that solve some of the problems that we see within the automaker space.
Knowledge management of the past was, okay, you create a document, then you change these languages by hand, and then you write 100 different documents in the 100 different languages. Right now, what we can do is, okay, you write in one language and boom, okay, you can automatically change it to 60 to 65 languages.
Or new infotainment software stack called Amber. So it's enable our customer to have a complete stack with underlying middleware. There we have already AI on it, and we use it, for example, for voice recognition and for other functions. So it's there, right? And we have this experience. And if you look at the objectives of the Luxoft, it's in the end, it's delivering faster releases, time to market, lowering the integration and software costs. And of course, what we also want to do is creating revenue streams and opportunities.
With macroeconomic uncertainty coming from changing tariff policies and global wars, it might surprise you that solution providers don't see auto customers hitting the brakes on AI investments. Instead, they feel greater urgency to out-innovate the competition.
There's incredible potential, and I think everyone sees it, but success really comes down to the right data and then the execution. of it. So everyone wants it. They want it now instead of understanding the automotive industry and the complexities that may come with it, the time that it takes to ensure that the data is there so we can activate some of these agentic models. So working with the clients on how to set those expectations, being the human in the box with everyone. So they feel like they're part of the journey, that it's helping them bring efficiency is part of everything that we do every day. But 100% still excitement. I think 4 times a day, my inbox is full of news articles of different AI use cases and a client calling saying, okay, Michelle, I want to activate this. How do you do it? And you're like, okay, let's talk about how that'll work for you. Right?
All these automakers are seeing kind of like this advent, and they see the need to modernize and be able to take advantage of all these new technology and innovation. I don't think it's a question of if, but they look more for how and for help in being ready, in move beyond the pilot into a successful production, in have the resilient infrastructure that can really be future proof to continue to maintain kind of like the pace, because they recognize that if they're not doing, they're going to be at a disadvantage with their competitors, because everybody's doing, it's kind of like a little bit of a race, and there's a lot of software that goes into cars these days. It's very significantly sophisticated piece of equipment, and with that obviously comes all the complexity. And to manage that complexity, they obviously see that agentic AI can help them keep up with the pace.
Because I would say now there's a lot more noise that's happening in the industry. A lot of our customers last year went into doing the POCs, and then with too much of noise going on, okay, they stayed back. Only thing is that, okay, they have implemented our AI-based knowledge management solution fully, but then the rest of the stuff, right, like these bots, the rest of the small stuff that is going on right now, they are slowing down. We've done multiple POCs for them, and they are seeing the value, and they are adopting them one by one by one. So, for example, I would say anomaly detection. So, where the rubber hits the road, they are trying to figure out how best they can utilize this technology for better usage for their business. They're seeing value, and then, okay, they go from there.
It is changing from you having demos and they say, wow, not bad, into we need it now, we need it safe, it needs to be mature, and it needs to be capable that we can roll out it into the field to a large scale. This is a big jump, and the main, let's say, driver for this I see is, of course, competition from the Far East. I think they are much faster in applying such kind of technology. There are different kind of solutions you can use in with AI, from machine learning to agentic AI to physical AI. And we also need to address the specific needs for the customer with the right solution. We see the safety aspect, and I'm coming from autonomous driving. I'm really an expert there. I see AI can help us to make really the car safer than we have as today.
The race isn't to just do AI. It's to make AI reliable and make clients ready for AI's next wave.
I'm optimistic, but I'm also, how do I now run my business to get the information that I need? And so co-collaboration is very important, helping them understand here's how you can activate AI and here's now how you can measure, is how we're helping the automotive industry really get ready and be optimistic about the outcome. So it's definitely lean in, be the customer zero, but also co-innovate with each other to be ready for what the future brings, because it's going to change.
We're telling them how we're an AI first firm, and that in anything we bring forward, expect we're going to bring AI into the equation and show where efficiencies have either been driven with equivalent organizations or can be created. And then, of course, making investments in that too. That's happening pretty heavily. We're making investments to prove that out so we can bring it to the next organization, and how AI is driving efficiency there.
This idea of moving beyond the experimentation phase, that we're seeing a lot of our clients really be looking at AI from an experimentation kind of point and moving into a production ready solution. And so create the infrastructure so that then you can deploy, and then you can also run all these models in a confident way. You can monitor the infrastructure, you can provide the governance around it, so you're sure that the model is trained with the right data and that the model is behaving the right way. Also be resilient, so that if something unfortunately happens, how are you able to cover quickly without an interruption to the manufacturing line, or the ability to engage with customer, or the customer service on the dealer sides. All these different aspects, I think it goes into all these possible direction, but the idea really shows how for us is not only a very important industry and pillar inside of customer, but how we can serve them on an end-to-end basis.
There's a lot of noise around AI right now, and we just need to make sure that, okay, we are doing the right things. My thought process to people who are listening to this would be to making sure that, okay, they are choosing the right technologies and the right solutions for which are longer term and which they can adapt and make sure that, okay, it is useful for their business. There's a lot more noise that's happening right now. So be a little careful in choosing the right trends, the right technologies, and making sure that, okay, you are investing in the future.
We're curious how long it really takes to have full autonomous driving cars with AI on the market, which also can pass this regulation. What we also need to not to consider with AI is like you need to be also ready to have software upgrades in the field. You buy your car, then you want, and right now, and advanced driver system, they're out of this loop. You can update your infotainment system, other things, but others will not. But with the evolution of AI, I think this in the future, so such kind of systems will be upgradable with software.
For more news and analysis on how channel partners are ushering in the era of enterprise AI, visit crn.com.